We are many, those that live beyond the veil of darkness, where nightmares are born. Sanity knows no bounds. Gladness rides on the suffering of the dead. Walked in the souls of the weak. We have taken refuge here among the mortals, in hope of harvesting on the innocent, traveling in the search for the voices, the stories of the departed. For in the shadows hides the evil that lurks within. As the light dies and slowly becomes night, the realm of the spirits rule the world. In the darkness of your mind hides your own inner demons, brings to life your deepest fears. Do you have what it takes to speak to the dead? Do you accept your own mortality? In the search for life after life, have you ever seen a ghost, spirit, or demon? Have the lights flickered and the roof became as cold as death itself? Maybe you have, maybe it was your own subconscious preparing you for death. Constant sorrow of what's left of your own existence in our search for the answers hidden behind the fear. Shake off the blinders and open your mind's eye. Listen to the story. We are they, we are incarnate,
And what is up, everybody? How y'all doing? How was your weekend? Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get this out of the way. Cheers to you. Yeah, another long, relaxing weekend. I needed it. I got back today, and as I anticipated, it was a shitstorm, but it was fun. We got through section 2 Friday night. Went ahead into section 3. The first 40 minutes are dark. So I went ahead until we came in and turned on the light. So we have something to look at rather than darkness. When we go through the audio, then we'll be able to see if we got any EVPs out of that. But that being said, let's see if we can get anything tonight. should be good, guys. Sorry about the darkness. Yeah, now we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the lens cap right there, and we're off. We're off with a surprise, gentlemen. We will be back later this evening to speak with you. Did it just get darker? What the? Hold on, hold on. This evening to speak with you. I hope that's just dust. We'll be back later this evening to speak with you. Sounds like an okay in there. So we got 40, 41. And that's more than likely dust coming at the camera. From when the door's shut, kick something up, we definitely got dust. And we're going to do it one more time to make sure. We will be back later this evening to speak with you. There's an okay in there. There's an okay in there. We're off with a surprise, gentlemen. We will be back later this evening to speak with you. Okay. There's an EVP there. Want to be back later to speak with you? Okay. And there's the dust. Huh. Okay, we can start off a couple minutes into the show with some evidence. I'm okay with this. And I'm going to write this down, because I already know we got it. So did everybody have a good weekend? Anything exciting at all happen? Me? Not a damn thing. When I say nada, not a damn thing. Boring as usual. All good though. Didn't even have the motivation to go out to get a beer on St. Patty's Day. Which is kind of odd for me. Oh well. Tipo Green, what's up, bud? How you doing tonight? Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Oh, well, surprised to see this kind of stream. Most people are. I honestly think I'm the only one on Twitch that analyzes evidence like this from investigations. Going through Adobe and analyzing all the audio and the video. Yeah, you never see stuff like this. I kind of did it so people would understand how tedious investigations actually get. Once it's over, how much goes into analyzing everything. Uh, for example, this is from Nevada State Prison here this last September. We had 21 digital recorders spread out throughout the prison. 21. Plus the recorder I was carrying and another teammate was carrying. So figure 23. Tedious it is. You're kind of tedium. It's very, very tedious. Let me pause this for a second. So you figure 23 digital recorders plus plus 3 stationary GoPros plus 2 GoPros that were being carried. Just the audio alone. Figure 23 digital recorders times 6 hours. 118 hours times 3. 350 plus hours of audio to go over. Plus the GoPros. We analyze the video, then we analyze the audio. That way we can pull the clips from them if we have them. You're talking close to 500 hours of evidence to go over. Well, once you break it down like that, you kind of just bang your head on the desk and go, this is going to be fun. But this is my 4th investigation of Nevada State Prison. My first investigation, we had 13 recorders, and we had 436 pieces of evidence throughout 2 nights. My second investigation, we did 3 nights. We had 469 pieces of evidence. My third investigation, we had even more recorders. We had 498 pieces of evidence. Currently analyzing the 4th investigation, we're only sitting at 100 EVPs, 100 pieces of evidence, and we're about 1/5 the way through. So, yeah, we've put in a lot of hours on this show. If you are curious to the evidence we've gotten at the prison, if you scroll down in the channel, the Discord channel, you can join the Discord and go into documents. The past.
We are the ones who dwell within.
Thank you for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. Go into Discord. Go into documents. I've typed up the evidence from the past couple investigations so people get an idea of the location of the prison and the type of evidence we get. You scared yourself. Yeah, I set up that follow for that sole reason. Little exorcism of Emily Rose right there. Oh, that's great. That deserves some applause. And we've got TMKDK in here. He's one of my regulars. And there's Mr. Moose, another regular in the channel. What's the wildest thing I've investigated or encountered? Let me pause. Wow. One of my very first investigations, and I've been in the field 15 years now, coming up on 16. I got an EVP saying, I'm right here behind you. Uh, I've seen shadows. I've been thrown across rooms. Uh, I've encountered a few wild things. Being thrown across the room was probably one of the wildest. One of the scariest. I had to be carried out of a location by my team. They thought I had a heart attack. I had a friend in town. I was in a remote Nevada town. I had a friend there who was actually a paramedic. He came down and checked me out, and my vitals were fine. Uh, but yeah, I ended up having a great big mark on the center of my chest. So that was probably the wildest, and that was about 10 or 11 years ago that I physically had to be carried out of a building. And I'm not a small guy. I'm 6'3", 240. At that time, I was probably 6'3", 220. So carrying a big guy like that down 2 flights of stairs, it's no bueno. But we've caught some wild evidence from the prison. Downside is all the static recorders and static GoPros. Sometimes we go hours without getting any evidence. It's tame compared to that. I've calmed down in my years investigating. I did used to provoke a lot. But at that time, I wasn't provoking. Hell, I had something follow me home from an investigation and throw me across my own bedroom. I was asleep. I got thrown across my room in my sleep. I woke up and hit the floor, and it was like, what was that? There was an orb, probably dust. Where at? Might have to go a little further than 20 seconds. From right to left. Let's go back 40 seconds. Okay, I see it. Okay. Okay. That's probably dust, but that's definitely interesting. I don't know. That's comes out of nowhere. There's no spider webs in there, but we were walking around in there not 20 minutes earlier. Let's watch it one more time. It disappears. The light should still be illuminating as it passes. In theory. In theory, the light should illuminate it all the way across. But it illuminates it from the wall. And it disappears. It illuminates it from the wall. And it disappears right in front of the camera where the strongest point of light actually is. So that makes it weird. Disappears right there. So from about from the wall to center of the camera, it is luminescent. Once it hits the center, it's gone. I don't know. I think the frame rate makes it look funny. Yeah. I think you're right. But it comes from the wall. That's weird. Huh. I want to try one more thing. Keep an eye on the execution chamber just in case. Okay, nothing. Because it's so oblong, it's not circular. It's kind of triangular almost. I'm gonna call this dust. I think I'm gonna debunk it. We're gonna call it dust. But between the wall and the cam, yeah. So yeah, it's dust. I don't see really any other way. I mean, the orbs that we've caught look like BBs. You can't see through them. They're solid white. And there's no like spikes or frillies or little fuzziness to it. It's a solid dot. This is not. So, yeah, dust. But, yeah. Like I said, guys, this year when I go back in September, I'm going to be focusing a lot of time in this area. I'm only been spending like maybe half hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending, a night. I'm going to spend a lot more time this year if I'm able to. I think we're going to get more evidence if I do. But like I said, there's so much more of the prison to investigate. We're just not getting the evidence I want to see out of it. And just so you know, hold on a second there. Tipo, this is Nevada State Prison. Since it's your first time here, if you've never seen Nevada State Prison, this is Nevada State Prison grounds. We've investigated all but one building on these grounds. We've investigated everything up here all the way down. And we haven't done the guard towers. They're too dilapidated for them to let us in. But everything here we've investigated minus, I think it's this building, which is the gymnasium. They won't let us into the gym. Oh, I've seen this place, heard a lot about it in discussions. Let me go back in case we missed something. Yeah, so this year, this September, will be my 5th investigation. And I'm looking forward to this year. Have you ever thought about investigating it? What draws it to you so often? The energy. There is so much energy in this place. You can't do it all in one investigation. hold on. Okay, 5136. We're going to have to go back and check that out. But again, the energy, like I said, the first year I investigated it, we were there 2 nights. We didn't even scratch the surface. Next 3 years, 3 nights. Still did not scratch the surface. There's so much there to investigate, and so many spirits want to communicate with you. You go into execution, they almost line up. Once you're there more than once, the spirits just open up to you and they talk to you. It's weird. That feeling on a small scale is incredible. This prison is close to 1 million square feet, the entire grounds. You figure one of the other regulars in the show, he joined the past 2 years. We tracked the steps, and one night we walked 13 miles on prison grounds. From home base to the top building is 3/4 of a mile. It's incredible. It is. It's tiring. It's exhausting, both mentally and physically. By the time you're done investigating, even the first night out of 3, you wake up the next morning and you're drained. You're mentally just beat. But I've been seeing stuff since I was like 5 years old. Uh, One night, I had a buddy call me up. He goes, "Hey, Brent, do you believe in ghosts?" It's like, yeah. He goes, "Do you want to go ghost hunting?" And yeah, I'd seen Ghost Adventures. I'd seen the paranormal shows. I never thought about it. It's like, yeah, I believe I've seen stuff. It's like, yeah, I'll go. He goes, "Do you have a digital recorder?" Yeah, I got digital recorder and a camera. He goes, "Get it ready. I'm coming over." So it's like, yeah, it's like we ended up going to a park, and then up to a cemetery. And my first night, I got a full body apparition. My very first investigation, I got a full body apparition. And it was just like, this is cool. And I stuck with it. Most of the original team, they don't do it anymore. Yeah, like I said, June will be 16 years. Let me see if I can find the picture, if I can. It's team in the background, not paranormal. That's for my first investigation. Yeah, right there on the right side of the table. Yes, I remember my first one. It was the spirit of my grandma. That was my very first investigation. That's me investigating. One of the other investigators photographed me because if you look, you see the bright light on the corner of the table. That's my digital recorder. I set it away from me. So yeah, full body apparition on my first investigation. And every once in a while, I'll break out the old EVPs from the cemetery we investigated. We investigated a veteran cemetery, and we got a lot of weird stuff. A drop of water? That's a goddamn big drop of water. Huh. If that's a drop of water, hold on, let me get back to it. Where's it at? If this whole thing is a drop of water, I mean, you can see a head, a shoulders, you can even see shoes. I mean, that's a full that's a big drop of water. Your grandpa caught similar stuff. Yeah, the talking you're hearing is down the hall. Another team investigating. Yeah, as far as photographs go, I've only caught maybe 4 or 5 things on camera, on photograph. On video, I think I've caught maybe 3 or 4 things. But on audio, just on this show alone, you see the counter there in the center. 2,896 EVPs since we started this show. I caught my grandpa on his old VHS recorder a week after his death. Wow. That is insane. He's kind of been around a lot since he died. Did you have a you and him have a strong bond? If you don't mind me asking, I don't want to be too pushy on this. Did you guys have a strong bond between you? Was he might just be looking after you. You were born on his birthday. Yeah, you guys have that bond too. He'll always be with you. All right, he'll always have his energy with you. Just be careful with it. Let me pause this again for a minute. This is when I dive into residentials. Most of my investigations have been residential investigations. That she wouldn't have time. Oh wow, that's insanity. Be careful about identifying the events as being your grandfather. Be very careful with it, please. I'll explain. A lot of spirit. The rule of thumb is, depending on your beliefs, when you pass away, you have 7 days to pass on into the light. If you can come back and visit loved ones, that's up for debate by every religion. But if you don't pass on to the light, you're trapped here until somebody else can help you pass on into the light. Do I believe once you pass on into that light, you can come back and look over your loved ones? Yeah, I personally believe it. I've experienced it firsthand, but to each their own on his beliefs. But I'll get to the point of the story real quick. We'll get back to the audio. I had a residential where a lady lost her husband in a motorcycle accident. For the first few days, there was a lot of activity in her house. Everything her husband would do, doors would shut at certain times of day, which would be when he came home from work. certain things would move around, certain occurrences in the house that mask what he did. Uh, then it stopped for a few months. Then all of a sudden it started again. She thought it was the spirit of her husband. Uh, Things started changing for the worse. I'm talking bad. She was getting scratched. She was seeing vortexes above her when she slept. Her sister moved in to look after her because things were getting bad. Excuse me. Things started happening to her sister too. That's when they reached out to a team, my team, and we went out there. It was a 90-mile drive. We investigated, got the evidence, went back. It's not your husband. We took a demonologist with us to basically bless the house. And we made her understand, listen, your husband's gone. You got to be blunt at this point, not be cold and callous about it. You got to convince her in a professional manner. And we thought we had her convinced. We left. About 2-3 weeks later, we get another call. The activity started again. Did you acknowledge it? Yeah, I thought it was my husband. This went on for, well, a total of seven or eight times. By like the fourth time, a second spirit had moved in. So we had to take the demonologist back with us each time to bless the house, do the whole clearing, do the whole spiel. And we finally told her, listen, your husband's, we had to be cold about it. Your husband's gone. His spirit's not here anymore. These are the spirits that are going to keep coming back if you keep acknowledging this is your husband. They're going to make it worse each and every time. We can't keep coming out like this because we don't charge. Everything we do in residential is free of charge. I sat down with her. I'm like, I pulled her off to the side. I'm like, listen, this is the way it is. You know, we're not going to stop communicating with you, but we can't keep coming back out here. And finally made her understand. And, you know, it took a course of 6 or 7 months to finally stop the negative energy because she assumed it was her husband. So if there is any change in the energy that you think might be your grandfather, stop acknowledging it. I know that sounds like being a jerk, but be careful.
We are the ones who dwell within.
Shy, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to Incarnate Paranormal. Currently talking to Tipo about spirit of a grandfather. We analyze paranormal evidence here. If you have any questions regarding the paranormal, please do not hesitate to ask. I will do whatever I can to answer your questions. If I can't get it on this show, I'll definitely try to get it by the next. So welcome to it, and feel free to join in the conversation. But yeah, Tipo, be cautious. And like you said, there's a lot of danger to it. It could switch like that. You could see something nice today, like smell your grandfather's aftershave, and tomorrow you get scratched. So yeah, be a little careful. And Shy, currently we are analyzing static GoPro in the execution viewing room of Nevada State Prison. The past 16 years, it's always been little things. Nothing ever felt bad. The stuff my grandfather believed from his time traveling the world, I feel it knew it's him just letting me know. Happens like once every year. Okay, so it's him checking on you. Best thing you could do when it happens, hey Grandpa, I love you and I miss you. You know, I wish you were here with me, but I know you're watching over me. And he'll hear you. Little things like that. It's loved ones watch over us. So yeah, it's it gets interesting. And that's why I miss doing residential so much. Uh, my team kind of got washy. It's hard to get everybody together for an investigation, especially a residential. But once we do, it's fun. One of these days, I'm going to hold on. Let me get the next. I'm gotta get the next file lined up here. I have a residential. I have full permission to use video and audio evidence on my show. They no longer live in Vegas, but when we went through the whole waivers, they told me to go ahead and use it on the show. It's like it might identify you and your wife. Like, go ahead. It don't matter to us. Here's one that may be bad. Read up and studied a lot about it, but never got a direct answer. It sounded like you might need to dip into a little parapsychology. Uh, a book by Lloyd Auerbach called Psychic Dreaming might help you a little bit. Also, if you scroll down on the channel on the right side, there's a whole list of books that are in my library. Not all of them, but it's the strongest ones of the collection. I've probably got 80 or 90 books on the paranormal and parapsychology. I'm not one of those just pick up the gear and go. I do my research. I have not encountered a big black dog, but I have encountered a hellhound. And I encountered that in Goldfield, Nevada, in the Goldfield Hotel. One of the weirdest things that ever happened. Uh, I believe in spirits of pets. I've investigated a pet cemetery, which, yeah, you kind of chuckle when you investigated a pet cemetery. Animals are conscious beings. They have memories, they have feelings, they show love, hate, fear. Why? And that's the end of that video. Let me get the next one loaded up real quick. Part 4. Let me get the enhancements in real quick. But yeah, big black blood red eyes, bigger than a greyhound scent. That was. She didn't have a lot of dead dogs. She was a breeder. That may be. I don't want to say hellhound because that's just odd. Uh, yeah, could very well be the spirits of one of the animals. Depends on how they were treated. With her, that's up in the air. We did. This is year. I've been in the field maybe 4 or 5 years. We did a building in Goldfield. We found human bones in the basement of one of the buildings. Uh, I know the owner of the building now, and he said that back in the 70s, the guy who owned it owned a bunch of dogs, and it was probably dog bones that we found. But we sent the bones off to the university, and they were human bones. We actually sent them off to be analyzed. But we did do the research, and the guy who owned it in the 70s into the early 80s did keep a lot of dogs down there, and dogs were buried down there. Uh, this goes back to the early days of Goldfield, though. We're talking early 1900s. The story goes that a little girl was in the this used to where the building used to be a trading post or a post office. It's still up in the air on that one. So many different stories about old towns. But this little girl overheard a dirty business deal between two men, and they murdered her and buried her in what is now the basement of the building. That's the story. Now, how true it is, I don't know, because over the course of 120 years, you know, things get embellished, speculated, changed around, set to fit certain narratives of the person telling the story. So, what's true and what's not, I don't know. Do I want to believe it's the spirit of a small girl? Yes, I do. I believe it is because we had some weird stuff happen down there. So again, it's all a matter of what you believe and what history says. If they can even come close, you're probably not very far off. I think that was Susan. Yep, that's Susan down the hallway. Susan is the head docent of the prison. She's the one that controls the keys and takes care of the building along with like 4 or 5 others. They make sure the floors stay clean and the cobwebs stay gone and the rats stay dead. So people can go in and investigate. And they also do day tours through there. Uh, they do ghost walks. Oh, Tipo, dude. Now, we're going to pause this again for a couple minutes. She's gotten pictures of spirits in the execution chamber. Uh, Spirits follow her around the prison. Uh, she does sometimes she does the day tours, basically just the tours, not the investigations. Uh, and she was doing a tour through the prison one day, and I get a call about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and she's like, "Brent, are you? Can you talk?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm on my way home from work." She goes, "I just finished a tour, and I had a spirit box on, and I had 10, 15 people with me on the tour. And all of a sudden, we got up by execution, and through the spirit box, clear as day, it says, 'Where's Brent?'" It's like, wait a minute, and she had to stop. It's like, "What did you just say?" It's like, "Where's Brent?" Came through the spirit box a second time. She had to explain to them who Brent was. She had to explain to the tour group, Brent is one of the guys that comes to investigate the prison. The spirits were asking for me while she was doing a tour because the spirits thought I might be there. She said she got it on recording. And that's the coolest thing in the world. To have spirits ask for you. She's been grabbed, she's been scratched, she's been pushed, she's been followed. There's good and bad spirits both at Nevada State Prison. Now, here's the shocker for you. The bad spirits are not an execution. Brent has spirit fans. Yes, I do. The negative spirits are not an execution, except for one. If you provoke him. And let me get his picture up real quick, so you guys can understand who I'm talking about. This gentleman right here. when you play when you end. No, that's actually up in Building 12. This gentleman right here, Carol Edward Cole. If you go into execution and call him Carol, he will attack you. He will scratch you, and you will have hand marks on your neck. He killed a lot of women. How did he kill them? He strangled them. Mr. Carol Edward Cole. If you go in to investigate, and I tell people this, call him Eddie or Mr. Cole. Do not use Carol. He will attack. So yeah, if you call him Carol, he's negative. If you go in and talk to him like they're people, you'll be surprised what you get. The only one I've provoked is this ass clown. Neil Pitney, up in cell block 12, up in building 12 on the hill. This idiot murdered his mother, decapitated her, had sex with her decaying corpse for a few months before he was caught. He pulled a Norman Bates. And I do antagonize him when I go. For justifiable reasons. Yeah, he's a strange one. But he died of a heroin overdose in his cell. And this is a weird one that I talk about. I've actually, a couple of the docents of the prison are former guards. Yeah, we put a Mother's Day card in his cell. I did, actually. And we all signed it. Where was I going? The docents of the prison are former guards. After my first investigation of that cell, I can't remember if it was night 1 or night 2, I asked one of the docents, like former guards, I'm like, I got to ask you a question. One, how did he get the heroin in his cell? 2, we all know he overdosed. He died from an overdose of heroin. And then I have a tendency of just blurting things out from time to time. I was like, was he helped by former prisoners or was he helped by guards? I said, did the guards help him overdose? He just kind of looked at me. He's like, I don't know. It's like, I have the strongest feeling in the back of my mind that he was helped when he overdosed. And he said it's possible. He said it's very possible because he was not liked. It's like it's very possible they helped him overdose. Whether it was a guard or another prisoner that overdosed, that injected it for him and overdosed him, is debatable. And I think when I go back this year, I'm going to sit in his cell until I get an answer. Did you overdose yourself or did you overdose yourself or did you have help? If they did not see it, they can't confirm. But guards talk. So do ex-cons. Finding this out is going to be impossible. But, and I tell people this, when you're on investigations, your gut feeling is usually right. Usually if you're on an investigation, you think about a question. You didn't think about it. You were fed the question. One of the spirits wants to answer something and is leading you to ask the certain questions. Because the guys who have been here for a while, TM for sure, Moose, he's been here a while, not as long as TM. I've asked some very off-the-wall questions to these prisoners, to the spirits. And I don't know where they come from. They just immediately come to mind. It's like, did I just ask that? So yeah, when I say Neil Pitney, was he helped? I think he was. But yeah, TM, if they didn't see it, they can't confirm it. They can say I can't confirm it and just nod while they're saying that. Be like, yeah, I thought so. You know, that's about as bad as being a child molester in prison is murdering your mother. Once the other inmates find out about it, hold on. Your days are numbered. Okay, that might be down the cell block. Because if you walk out of execution, this door on here on the right, there's immediately another door on the wall. If you walk out that door and take 5 steps and go right, you're on death row. If you take 15 steps down the hallway and make a left, you're in women's. So there's very close proximity to 2 other areas where there's heavy investigations going on. You pretty much have to try to keep people out of this area if somebody's in, next door, because the voices in here travel insanely.
Come and play with us forever and ever and ever.
And Ecto, thank you for the raid. Appreciate it, bud.
Thank you.
Always appreciated, man. How you doing tonight? And for those just joining in, we're analyzing static cameras from Nevada State Prison execution viewing room. We've got it. Once we finish the video, we have to load it into Adobe Audition, then go through the audio. But we already got one EVP out of that. When we came back in to check on the camera, when I left, I said we'll be back later to talk to you, and we got a response of okay. Oh, excuse me. So we got one little piece of evidence tonight we have to lock down when we go through the audio. Beyond that, been welcoming new people in tonight and answering some paranormal questions. So it's been good. Kind of breaks up the lack of not getting evidence. But yeah, the nice static cameras. Oh, you have a paranormal question? Back in the class. You right there in front. Yeah, Ecto, what's your question? No, but I've caught other investigators on recorders. Clapping ghost cheeks. No, I haven't heard them. And this goes back to I was investigating the Red Garter brothel in Williams, Arizona. It's tiny. You go in the door up a steep staircase, and you've got like 5, 6 bedrooms in this room, or in this little tiny upstairs. So you got 5 investigators up there, and I put a recorder in each room. And a couple of the girls were down investigating one of the other rooms, and one walked by and she let one rip. There's no other kind way to put this. And I heard the other investigator with her, and the other investigator's name is Kim. I won't out the other one who let it rip. She's like, you do know Brent has a recorder right here on this dresser. She's like, Brent, get in here now. So I, run down there. I think they found something. She goes, I need you to delete that audio. It's like, no, I'm not deleting my possible evidence. Why do you need me to delete it? And Kim out of the blue is like, because she just farted. I'm like, I said, don't worry. My viewers don't know your name. They're not seeing your face. You don't have to worry. She goes, I still want you to delete it. No, because if the spirits responded after you ripped it, I'm going to use that as evidence when we do the reveal. And she stopped and she's like, oh. She knew at that point I wasn't going to delete it and that I was right. That what if the spirits responded that, what if you got a woman walks into the room, farts on recorder, and you get an EVP of that's not very ladylike? What if you get an EVP saying that's not ladylike? That would be epic response right there. That's the reason I didn't delete it. But it was like, she's like, please delete it. Nope. And I've still got the recording too. His spirit said it was stinky. Oh, that would be even better. It stinks in here. Well, at least we know the spirits can smell. All right, guys, we can do this real quick. This is a red garter. This is how small the rooms are. All right. Looks like it's rare for you to be off on a Monday. You're in a weird mood. I should have taken off today instead of Friday. I took a 3-day weekend. I needed an extra day off. It's like, I walked in today. They're like, Brent, you should have taken today off instead of Friday. It's like, why? It's like, we needed you. It's like, I scheduled this 2 months in advance. Like, nope, not changing it. Busiest Irish pub in Central Florida. Oh, I bet it was a madhouse. Do they set up the price when they get EVPs? No. They charge their normal rates for the night. It was like $120 a night for the main suite, which I stayed in, and it was like $85 for the other rooms. They advertise it as haunted, but they don't jack up their prices like other places do. All they ask is if you get evidence to share it with them. That way they can use it if anybody ever asks. And usually when I go in, I can talk down prices. Granted, I don't, because I know the money's going to keep up certain places. I won't ask for discounts. If places have not been investigated, hey, can I come in and investigate? They're like, yes, please. We have activity all the time. We've never had anybody ask. You would not believe how many small towns I've gone to, asked to investigate, and they're like, nobody's ever asked us before. Teams always stop through, but they never ask to investigate. That's a team in the background. And it's like, what do you mean? These small towns are a hotbed for activity. They're like, nobody wants to come back. We're 4 hours in the middle of nowhere. It's like, yeah, that's what email is for. It's like, if you want to come back, we'll let you in for free. No. What's your night rate? I'll pay the rate for the room. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna stay for free. You got a freaking business to run. And a lot of teams don't realize that. These are legit businesses. Offer to pay something. You know, it bothers me to no end when teams do that. Hell, I'll go outside and pee in a bush. I can shower when I get home. To get a chance to investigate a building nobody ever has before? You think I'm going to turn that down? Hell yes, I'm going to pay for it. You'd be a fool not to. And that goes for anybody out there that wants to investigate. Somebody offers it, still offer to pay. You'd be surprised the reaction you're going to get. And you're going to get more business out of it. Remember, one old man, podunk nowhere. Give him a business card. You pay the price, the normal prices of the hotel or whatever. And he's going to talk to everybody in the area. Because that old man knows everybody in the region. Hey, I offered to give it to him for free. He's still paid. He was professional about it. If you need help, call him. Then all of a sudden, you got 10 more locations that opened up like that. That's why I carry business cards and always shake everybody's hand. Especially small towns. Hell, that's how I got into a few locations. Whoever is down the hall is making a lot of noise. Downside though, guys, I just did get an email. I have to freaking work Sunday. Probably got to go in for like an hour and get paid for 4. Go figure, right? And there's at least 3 voices there. Tammy and Susan are 2 of them. I can guarantee you that one right now. The third one might be Chris, the other docent. Not 100%. But yeah, Moose, you're right. I can definitely identify 2. Yeah. Ecto, you notice how I kind of just ignored your Zach Bagans comment. Kind of just went, da-da-da. Nope. Don't even want to entertain that one. Yeah, Moose, we'll be able to tell when we go through the audio. It's so hard to do that. You can't really clip audio out of the video unless you're in Adobe. That's why I'm kind of just making notes now. And just hope for the best. We definitely have 1, 2, 3. We have 8 possibilities and 1 definite. And somebody wanted to come up and say hi to everybody. There's my bud Jack. Say hi to everybody. TM, I'll do that when I get to Adobe. When we get it over to Adobe, I will. FFmpeg. Okay. I'll check that out after the show. Yeah, Moose, also remember, like I said about the Echo, you've got what? So to the door is about 15 feet, another 3 feet to the next door, 18 feet, 30, about 45, 50 feet away are the other investigators. You can also do a VLC, but sometimes keeps going in a loop by saving new file. Yeah, don't want to do that. You were thinking Echo too? And video is pretty much just looking for video evidence. Unless it's so definitive audio-wise where we can clip it, I'm not even really concerned. And I hate saying it like that. We just got to hope for the best. You'd think as much as we've gone through, we would have at least a shadow to debunk. I mean, we've debunked the dust. I'm not going to even say orbs because they weren't. Dust. And we still have... Where are we at? Three more sections. Wait, no. Part 4. We have 2 more full sections to go. So we have 2.5 sections to go. You keep watching that chamber. So do I. I keep watching between OBS and my main screen. It's a little bit brighter on OBS, but I hate looking up there because it looks like I'm looking off away from the screen. At least it's not the photograph we thought was an apparition, because that was just creepy. Thinking that freaking photograph was an apparition. It's like, we should know better. We should definitely know better. Obviously not. But anyways, guys, we are at that stopping point. We got one EVP tonight, and it was okay. I mean, legitimately, one word response, okay. We got to debunk dust and one EVP, so not a terribly bad show, but definitely interesting. Moose, TM, Ecto, Tipo, and anybody else lurking in the shadows. I thank you for being here tonight. I know an hour, 20 minutes, not a lot of evidence, just a lot of talking. That's generally the way it goes when we're lacking the evidence. But you know what? Tomorrow night could be different. We could get a full body apparition, or we could not. My votes for the second. Full body apparitions don't happen very often. I'm just like fishing. Exactly, TM. We're fishing for the spirits. We're fishing for the apparitions. That might be a good t-shirt idea. Little guy on a boat, stick figure on a boat, little water line, and a ghost beneath going for a hook. That might be a good t-shirt idea. Anyways, guys, fishing for apparitions. I like that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. Good night. God bless, and I'll see you all tomorrow night. Thanks again.